2 pages in a handwritten ledger represent the breeding career of Eulogy. She was by Cicero from Galevia and was born in England in 1911. The notes are meticulous, just like the studmaster George Moore Curry. They detail the sires, the 14 foals produced, and the owners who purchased 10 of them. Curry kept 4 yearlings to race himself. By modern standards, the £8,330 paid for these horses might seem modest, yet Eulogy helped establish Koatanui Stud near Wanganui as a powerhouse in New Zealand breeding. Eulogy and her clan bred some of the best racehorses New Zealand has ever seen. Multiple winners of classics and gallopers of the highest class. And that influence continued through the following generations.
Our Waverley Star, the rails, Bone Crusher the outside, and Bone Crusher races into equine immortality.
Yes, the great Bone Crusher can be traced back to Eulogy. It was a feature of the Eulogy family that branches, which appeared to be breeding out, would suddenly burst to life with new sire blood. The Eulogy influence stretched far and wide in New Zealand racing. The story began when George Curry wanted to buy a sire from the British Bloodstock Agency in 1914. He missed the sire he wanted and eventually bought Absurd for 1,000 guineas. That was less than he had budgeted for, so he asked the agency to buy a mare with Cicero blood. Eulogy was picked up for 350 guineas. This is the original documentation detailing their purchase, history and projected shipping arrangements. Further evidence of Curry's thorough record keeping. He would have had great hopes for his new breeding pair. Little did he know at the time it was a match made in equine heaven. Absurd would win the New Zealand sire title 5 times in 6 years, and Eulogy would produce some of the most outstanding progeny ever seen. Eulogy arrived at Koatanui in 1915, already carrying the foal Pennon. Curry had been steadily building the stud business since the turn of the century. It was success with sales in Sydney that allowed him to look to England for new blood. Grooms at the time remembered Eulogy took serving and foal-bearing in her stride. She had good maternal instincts and nothing disturbed her. Pennon produced 9 foals, the majority by Absurd, and all were winners. It's through this line the connection to Bone Crusher can be traced. Yarraldul won at Randwick and Flemington. Humbug had 8 wins, including the Hawke's Bay Guineas. Folsom was assisted to Humbug and won twice. Epitaph brought £1,500 when sold as a yearling in 1921 and won 7 consecutive races. Curry believed Homage founded the best tribe of the Eulogy line. She produced 12 foals, with 11 of them winners. Commendation was Eulogy's greatest triumph, winning 17 times, including the New Zealand Derby. Eulalie brought the highest price for a Eulogy yearling of £1,600. She was sold to George Greenwood, the owner of Gloaming, and started her career by winning the Gimcrack Stakes at Randwick. Pedestal was considered a flop and only won a maiden. He was by Thespian and probably tainted Curry's views about homebred sires. That was the Thespian who broke Gloaming's winning run at 19. Curry rated Praise his best Eulogy filly. It was sold to Greenwood and went on to win the St Ledger, Welcome Stakes and Great Northern Oaks. 9 of her 12 foals were winners. Esteem won 4 jumping races while Adulator was Eulogy's only non-winner. Legrand was gelded and won 4 races. Eulogy's last foal was Relative. She won twice for Curry and produced 5 winners. This is Relative being hand-reared by longtime groom Jack Lowe. Eulogy died just hours after giving birth to the filly at the age of 23. In typical fastidious Curry fashion, Eulogy was given a lasting memorial in the Koatanui style, just like the Great Absurd. Fortunately, Curry had the services of Le Monde, the 3rd member of the breeding triumvirate, for another 2 years. Curry was an intensely private man. An indication of his greatest thrill in racing comes from this sash that hung on the study wall. It's the 1926 Avondale Guineas, a dead heat between Commendation by Le Monde from Eulogy and Lysander by Absurd from Pennon, all from Koatanui. The Koatanui stud story came to a sudden end. Curry had no heirs, and upon his death in 1960, the decision was made to hold a dispersal sale. These pictures are taken from that last parade held at Koatanui in 1961. And this photograph of a lone horse boarding a majestic float is the last Curry mare to leave the property. She was the Oaks winner, Premature, whose lineage went back through Pennon to Eulogy. These are reminders of Eulogy and the great era at Koatanui. The clippings come from Eulogy and the 2 outstanding sires. The inkwells were made from the hooves of Le Monde. The colours that were first registered by Curry in 1901 continued to be raced by the Stewart family, the Vets, for Kauatanui. And now Eulogy's induction into the Racing Hall of Fame will ensure future generations know about one of the Southern Hemisphere's most remarkable broodmares of the 20th century.